Live from the Icebox Studio in Montgomeryville, Pennsylvania, it's the Bill and Corey Show. I'm Bill.
And I'm Corey.
Welcome to another episode. I'd like to remind you that all those people who tuned in live, we have the live chat feature, so you can type in your questions, and we'll try to answer them. And those who set their VCRs and are watching it at a later time, one of the advantages of watching it live is that you can ask questions. So if we have something that just pops into your head, or you see one of our questions and you want to have a follow-up to it, you can just type it in and we'll try to answer it. Okay, today we got some questions. Most of them are regulators. I'm going to start out with a high flow regulator. I'm looking for a high flow, it's 300 liters per minute regulator for nitrogen gas service. Inlet pressure of 150 psi and outlet pressure of 100 psi.
Right here is our high flow 3200 series regulator. This one is off of our test bench, so it looks a little beat up, so this is a used regulator. And this one, it has 1/2 inch in, 1/2 inch out. The gauges are still 1/4 inch ports. And this one can definitely flow your 300 liters per minute nitrogen. And this one, it's 3000 psi is the max pressure it can take in, but it can definitely do the 150 and it can regulate it down to 100 for you.
Okay, good. The next question, thank you, Corey. Next question it's kind of long here, so hopefully I can do it in one breath. I'm looking for a low delivery pressure regulator designed for purging low pressure environmental chambers, which is essentially what I'm doing. I am purging in the environment inside a camera's housing. Oh. When I was unable to attain high purity -70 Celsius dew point, that's about 3 ppm moisture, I questioned the gas. My gas supplier brought me a cylinder of ultra high purity gas with a certificate of analysis certifying the gas to be 0.433 ppm moisture. That's pretty good. I know the gas is good, so I suspected the regulator. They, another company, recommended a brass regulator with stainless steel diaphragms. Okay, now when you're dealing with moisture, I've got a bunch of things to say.
Yeah.
Put that in here. As when you're dealing with moisture, stainless steel is better to use than brass, because brass has more nooks and crannies where moisture can kind of hide out in there.
And the nooks and crannies aren't in how it's shaped. It's the actual material itself. Yeah. Brass is much more absorbent of things than stainless steel is.
Yes. And now, what some people forget, they'll have really good gas, and they could have a really good stainless steel regulator, perfect condition, and they still have moisture problems. One of the things they overlook is the fact that you can get atmospheric contamination. People just don't think about it, but you have moisture in the air. So like during a cylinder changeout, when you disconnect the CGA fitting from the cylinder, you can get atmospheric contamination there, and you get a little bit of moisture. And then people hook it up to the cylinder and they start running it, and now that little bit of moisture in there just gets shoved downstream. So there's different ways to take care of it. One way is to purge it out. And this regulator is actually one we had in the showcase. So this is probably not the regulator they would use, but this has a cross purge on the inlet. So it allows you to bring in inert gas. This is typically for toxic or corrosive gases where you do want to eliminate moisture for other reasons than just purity. And you can purge out this system, and then you can ensure, and then when you're changing out cylinders, you can have a slight nitrogen flow back through, so it's a positive pressure, and then the moisture.
Yeah, you hook up the purge gas in, purge it through, and you cycle it out through here, open and close it.
Yeah, we go into in-depth in the purging. Another thing you can do is kind of a cheaper version.
Probably better for what this guy's using it for, because it's not toxic gas.
You can take this is our T-purge. They'll have the CGA in. You can put it between your cylinder and your regulator. Now this is set up for the purge nitrogen in here, so it's probably better for flammable gases or stuff like that. What you can do, if you just want to use it to be able to purge the high pressure gases, you can take the check valve off and just purge it out that way. So that's something to take, like we said, the purging is one thing. The other thing you can talk about is putting a purifier in downstream. And a lot of labs do this, so they might get the top-notch gas, but it's really important. So they put these purifiers. This is a pure gas inline purifier. I also use something like the 450 is a small purifier you could probably use. And that will get you down to the minus 70 C.
Yeah, these are used mostly for
carrier gases.
Carrier gases.
It can be used for purging. There is flow limitations on this. This is a 20 liter a minute, 25 liter a minute.
Yes, 25
liter a minute.
Under the conditions to get to 25 liters a minute.
Yeah. So if you're purging something out, 25 liter a minute or less of an inert gas, this is the way to go. The 450B, which I didn't bring on today, will give you a higher flow rate. I want to say 3 CFM, something like that. So that's what you can use for that.
Come in other it doesn't just remove moisture, they can remove oxygen, and hydrocarbons are another thing that those remove.
We got a lot of props today.
Yes.
Okay, this is on a switchover system.
I get the big guy over here.
The big guy, we got big props today. I'm currently looking for information on existing manifold designed by Methyl. I need to know the design rating of each regulator in the manifold, along with the maximum pressure each manifold can operate at. The model number for the manifold is 524-A48T47DJKQ, and this is not that.
No, this is not that. So to answer the first part of the question, there are 2 regulators on each switchover. This is the switchover regulator, which will at 200 psig, or if you get, there's a 170 psig version for doers typically.
Yeah.
And this will switch over the gas that can take 3,000 psig max. And this is a line regulator that we add, which will take the 200 psig from here and put it down to the letter A in our part number is for 30 psig, letter B is 100, and letter C is for 150. So those are the 3 most popular pressures. And that's what this regulator does. It will put out the 30, 100, or 150.
Yeah. And that can handle 3,000
psig as well.
Now, some of our older switchovers, probably 10 years old, they had the line regulator was 400 psi rated. And the body could take 3,000 psi, but the seat, how it was set up for flow, the seat couldn't take more than 400 psi.
Yes, so be wary if you have an older model. It does not.
Okay. Now this one is a force. The matrix that they gave us is 4 cylinders, and this is another way of doing. This is one of the ways we do 4 cylinders. Is a 2x2, and that's we put a T in there, and we have 2 flex hoses on each side. And then,
but the particular part number that this gentleman sent over is a part number with manifolds on it instead for a 2x2.
And we'll show you what that looks like.
So
yes, so you can order a 4-cylinder with headers. So it would be, we're trying to mock it up here. It would be different. You would have the matching CGA fitting on the inlet going into the regulator there. And then the manifold would hook up to it on each side. So.
And it spaces them out nicely. Makes it look, look a little bit nicer. You get the brass; it's like a shiny gold color, which is always nice to around the shop.
Yeah.
And then we have, so that one, depending on the next letter, will tell you the CGA. So it'll go 524A. The letters of pressure. 8 is just there for fun.
It's for fun.
For fun. It's just 8. The 8 is always there, and then the next letter will tell you the CGA. So in this case, it's a T, CGA 580. The 4 tells you that you have cylinder holders, which are things you can, they hold the cylinder in place so you can't tip it over. There's a high pressure isolation valve on it, which is the 7.
Yeah.
And then there's certified leak check. So
that's the K.
That's the K.
This is a certified inboard and outboard.
Inboard. And we do inboard and outboards on all of ours, but this is
we don't do.
Oh, we don't do. Oh, we don't. Okay.
We leak check all of our systems.
Yes, we leak check.
Some people want certified. You get a certified outboard.
It's certified.
Which is just.
So we do the inboard. We do the inboard every time.
No. Inboards, you pull a vacuum.
Yeah, no, I know.
When you do an inboard leak check, you pull a vacuum and you spray helium over it.
Yeah. To
And
see if
see
you
these.
can
So
detect
that's the high level certification. So yes, you can get certified leak checks.
it. And there are many variations on our part numbers. I mean, there's probably thousands of different combinations that you could get. So so there's a lot of things that you can do with this.
Okay. Next question is, says we would like to purchase another regulator question.
I mean, that is our main business.
We'd like to purchase a regulator for methyl chloride, carbon dioxide, and nitrogen. It says up to 4,000 psi. I'll get to that. Do you have a recommendation on which item we should go with? We were thinking single stage regulator will work fine. Yes, single stage regulator will probably work fine for your applications. When they say 4,000 psi, your typical cylinders,
2750.
what the typical cylinders aren't going to be the 4,000. He's probably reading the gauge. The gauge, our typical gauges on here are 4,000. A lot of times people look at that
Yes.
and think that's what it is. And they'll look at the delivery pressure gauge and think that that's the highest delivery pressure, and it's not.
Bill, why don't we put the exact pressure gauge pressure on for the max on the regulator?
Why don't we do that? Well, I got some videos talking about that. But there's different working pressures of the gauge. I can't quite tell you the different ones. There's if you're just using it a short amount of time, you can go to the full scale. So this is a 200 psi gauge, and it's a 125 delivery pressure regulator. And so you can go there short term. For working, it's going to be a percentage of that scale. So that's why we do that. And it's the scales are more accurate in the middle part of the gauge. So
323, right?
Yep. So that's methyl chloride is a flammable gas. It's slightly toxic and corrosive. You might want to consider doing a cross purge on it or a T-purge. So that is that. Okay, and this one is they're developing a system to include dual stage regulator. He's looking for a model file, STP, of the mounting bracket and mounting nuts. And then there's another question that came in about the same time. It says, do you provide step files or CAD models for your CGA fittings? So that's not.
Oh, sorry.
This is what it is. So there's the bracket.
Okay.
It's just something to show.
Yeah.
We can't show step files because they're electronic.
Well, I mean, we could bring a computer on here.
Yeah, just.
So this is the bracket, and we did not have it in our step files, but we made it for the customer as well as for the CGA fittings. As of this time, if you go on store.mathesongas.com, there's a web page on there for step files, and it lists all our step files, and there's over 90 step files in the Help Center. Most of it is our regulators, but there are others in there as well that you can get. Some of our filters are in there. In
there we've got, if you go to the Help Center or our online store, store.mathesongas.com, we've got a 3D file. That's where our step files, and that's for CAD designers. We've got a lot of the systems, switchovers, manifolds, panels, and such. And we have regulators, and then so we have over 90 of them on there. And we do have other step files, but we just haven't loaded them up on the site because why would you want to load something people aren't going to use?
So we'll take requests, and we'll try to get them over to you.
Yeah, and then we'll post it on the website.
Yeah. I know I use step files from other places all the time when I do my drawings. They're very, very helpful.
Yeah, they are. Okay, well, thank you. That's all the questions we have for this week, and it doesn't look like we have any questions that came in. So tune in next week at 10 a.m. on Thursday for another episode of the Bill and Corey Show.
Set your VCRs.